The Tommy Campbell Show. The funniest national security story of the year just dropped, and it turns out the biggest threat to former DHS Director Kristi Noem wasn't a foreign power. It was her husband's alleged $25,000 secret bimbofication habit. While Kristi was busy spending millions securing the nation, playing Ice Barbie in a series of awful cable news costumes, her husband Bryon was at home spending thousands paying women on the internet to watch him play dress up. Even though his jugs are under a t-shirt and as real as Trump's golf handicap, I still had to blur these, which somehow makes it worse. I don't know if this one's real or a meme at this point, but it's incredible. One model came forward and now others are going, hang on, I've had that guy. He called himself Jason Jackson. Jason Jackson. You know it's bad when people start recognizing you from the news. This is one of those stories that stops you mid-scroll and makes you think, hey, it's an April Fool's joke, right? But it's not. Bryon Noem was calling himself Jason Jackson online and never hiding his face. I'll just change my name, keep my face. While his wife's in Super Bowl commercials and accidentally linked his phone to his family business, creating a massive blackmail risk. And somehow the head of Homeland Security missed a $25,000 liability sitting right next to the laundry hamper.
Former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is asking for privacy and prayers tonight. She's said to be devastated by a report alleging her husband has been what is being called a cross-dressing double life. Senior national correspondent Rich Edson has details tonight. Good evening, Rich.
Good evening, Brett. Well, former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and now President Trump are responding to a report regarding Noem's husband's alleged online activities. A spokesperson tells the Daily Mail that she's devastated and that, quote, the family was blindsided by this, and they ask for privacy and prayers at the time.
Kristi Noem was asking for privacy. Sorry, Kristi, we can't hear you. Our ears are still ringing from you shooting your dog. Justice for cricket. Remember back in 2023 when Kristi was sounding the alarm on the Chinese spy balloon? That was a fun week. She called it a brazen act and a threat to the American homeland. She was so worried about one balloon over South Dakota that she basically wanted to shoot it down herself. Well, while you were scanning the South Dakota skies for high-altitude surveillance, your husband was locked in the bathroom with a MacBook and two balloons stuffed under his shirt, paying $25 a minute to a bimbofication subculture using a fake name. She's going to have to update that book of hers. New title, My Triple D Husband, or simply Jason Jackson.
Subscribe.
Things really are going tits up for Noem, and this didn't just come out of nowhere. Someone had screenshots, messages. This was a full investigation. The core of the scandal involves Bryon reportedly dropping over 25 grand on high-priced chat models. We aren't just talking about a secret browser history. We're talking about photos of the first gentleman of South Dakota in pink hot pants and a skin-tight suit with literally party balloons stuffed under his shirt to mimic oversized breasts. I gotta say, every time I read a story like this, I think I took the wrong career path. I mean, I have to beg for a few bucks in tips. I make this show for free. And these gals are getting thousands to be like, oh yeah, your lopsided chest looks so great in that Old Navy t-shirt. Now the memes are absolute fire for this. He's probably thinking about other women. I wish I had tits. If those puppies get any bigger, I'm going to have to shoot them. Again, justice for cricket. The right-wing spin machine is already trying to run from this, reframing it as hypocritical for liberals. Oh, now you're making fun of a man pretending to be a woman. It's a desperate pivot to turn a national security nightmare into a gender debate, so they don't have to talk about the industrial-grade hypocrisy. Now look, I'll be the first to say it. Yeah, we're laughing. Because it's hilarious. It's so weird. It's subjectively bizarre. And you have every right to be as wild as you want in your own time. But you also don't get to demand a moral purity test for the public while your husband's secretly running a DIY tit lab in the basement. Hiding a $25,000 balloon habit from your spouse isn't self-expression, it's a liability. This is not a gotcha on liberal tolerance. It's a spotlight on the family values crowd, the party of family values. And this wasn't accidental either. Reports suggest it may have been a targeted hit from someone with a grudge tied to DHS policy. That means their private life was already exposed to someone motivated enough to use it. While Kristi's at the podium talking about securing the border, her husband's at home creating a situation that basically invites blackmail. Now, I saw a parody poster rolling around, Noem what you did last summer. Noem, you didn't. This went on for years. I loved it so much I had to make a few of my own. Now, since he used to coach basketball and there was that embarrassed dog, I had to kick things off with this version of Air Bud You Never Got to See, directed by Kevin Sorbo. The Mammatrix. Welcome to Boob World, directed by Kevin Sorbo. White men with giant boobs can't jump. Jurassic Rack. Something bigger has survived. 25,000 in the making. Yeah, that's how much he spent. That we know of. You know that figure's going to grow like Rubio's ears. Directed by Kevin Sorbo. Now, speaking of all those transactions, Top Guns, MasterCard. Decline soon. Directed by Kevin Sorbo. Great to see he's finally getting work. Now, I had a blast making this one. Life of Bryon, with his stupid spelling. As one with mild dyslexia, I struggle with this name. I must have typed Byron a million times. Bryon with the Y is up there with Lauren Boebert's Jason with the Y. It is so wrong. She somehow missed the fact that her husband was spending a mid-sized sedan's worth of cash on internet babes while the administration oversaw a government shutdown that left TSA and ICE agents working without pay. While federal employees were wondering how to cover rent, the first gentleman was funding a high-budget drag performance in the basement. Model Lydia Love claims there is no way Kristi didn't know. Either way, it's all kinds of wrong. Now, Bryon Noem isn't just a political spouse. His day job is running Noem Insurance, Inc., a family business in South Dakota that specializes in crop and farm insurance, whose entire professional identity is built on old-fashioned service and meticulous risk management, yet he created the largest liability in the state. And perhaps the greatest mistake in history, he linked the contact number for his secret chats directly to his professional business line. One of the models reportedly discovered his true identity when she accidentally butt dialed the Jason Jackson number she texts with and was greeted not by a hot, how you doing, but by a pre-recorded message saying, "Noem Insurance, leave a message." He didn't just break the family values contract, he violated every clause of his own risk management policy, and the premium for that failure was his wife's entire political career. But her defense is basically the "I had no idea" shrug. Come on, Kristi, your entire job description is notice things that look out of place. If you can't spot a pair of triple D silicone implants hanging in the bathroom, how were you ever trusted with the border? If my wife found a stash of fake jugs in our closet, I wouldn't be sitting here in a studio with this lighting. I'd be recording this show on an iPhone 4 from a van down by the river. When you're the first gentleman funneling five-figure sums to international models for Bimbofication sessions, you're not just a customer, you're a target. Counterintelligence officers live for leverage, and Bryon provided a mountain of it. Twin Peaks, actually. You don't need to hack a mainframe where you can just DM a guy photos of himself in a balloon-filled skin suit and say, "Give us your wife's movements," or "These go to your church email list." This went on for years with her husband, and it is a blackmailer's paradise.
So my advice would be to encourage everyone in this room to try to be the most well-read person in every room that you're in. That was a piece of advice one of my predecessors, Dana Perino, gave to me before I took this job. She said, "You always want to be the most well-read person in the room." And I try to be every day. But Donald Trump always is. That man does not miss a story, let me tell you. He's always reading the papers and watching the TV. He doesn't miss anything anyone says in the whole world. I don't know how he does it and consumes it all.
Donald Trump doesn't read, and he showed that again this week when he revealed a presidential library without any books. Now, in his book, Fire and Fury, Michael Wolff wrote that Trump didn't process information in any conventional sense, didn't read, didn't even really skim. Some believe that for all practical purposes, he was no more than semi-literate. And it wasn't just a rumor from the outside. Gary Cohn, his own economic advisor, sent an email saying, "It's worse than you can imagine. Trump won't read anything, not one-page memos, not the brief policy papers, nothing. He gets up halfway through meetings with world leaders because he's bored. He wouldn't read the daily intelligence briefings. He literally unsubscribed from the most important newsletter on earth. Compare that to Obama, a guy who doesn't just read, he curates because he wants others to read too. Every year he drops a summer reading list like he's the world's head librarian, and I love it. This is the man who wrote his first memoir by himself at 33, then A Promised Land, a 768 deep page dive into the presidency that weighs about as much as is a tin of Trump's spray tan. It's a big book. Meanwhile, Donald's first book was ghostwritten by a guy who now spends his entire life apologizing for it, and his latest release is literally a picture book with captions. We went from a president who writes deep reflections on geopolitics to a guy who thinks a long read is the side of the bottle of pepperoni pills he got from Doc Ronnie Jackson. Now, this isn't AI, that's a real helicopter, and those stick legs belong to RFK Jr.'s workout buddy Kid Rock, who got treated to a private air show. You've got Pete Hegseth, the wet lunch former Fox guy who's supposed to lead the most powerful military on Earth, treating a U.S. Army helicopter like a patio drone for the guy that lip-synced his way through an alternative halftime show to a paid audience. They're saying that he violated FAR Part 91-119 and other regulations. I mean, it basically means you aren't allowed to use multi-million-dollar military hardware to give Lauren Boebert's booty call a low-altitude ego boost. This increased the risk of a preventable accident, and not for a mission, not for training, but so Kid Rock can feel like he's in a 1998 music video again and score some internet points for his eyes too close together and eyes too far apart MAGA base. In a Nashville interview, he called the flights harmless and accused the naysayers of suffering from Trump derangement syndrome and said, "It's not the first time they flown over my house."
I don't know if you saw it. Army helicopters hovering near Kid Rock's house in Nashville. Did you see that video?
I didn't see it, no, but I'm sure they had a good time.
So the Army just said the crews of these helicopters have been suspended. What do you think of that?
Well, it depends. Are they, well, they probably shouldn't have been doing it. Yes, you're not supposed to be playing games, right? But I'd take a look at it. They like Kid Rock. I like Kid Rock. Maybe they were trying to defend him. I don't know.
Trying to defend him? It's the Army. It's not ADT. Even Newsmax is pushing back after Pete Hegseth gave them a pass, proudly posting "suspension lifted, no punishment, no investigation." Newsmax host and former Marine Corps Harrier pilot Greg Kelly lashed out at Hegseth, posting, "So what if those flyboys flew by Madonna's house and took a bow, or Robert De Niro? That would be cool, right? But it's just fine for Kid Rockhead? What an amateur move, posting it on social media." Meanwhile, Hegseth runs the Pentagon like he ran his phony nonprofits, recklessly. He has no business micromanaging Army units. They must discipline hot dog pilots performing unauthorized stunts because next time something could go very, very bad. You know it's bad when even Newsmax is jumping ship from a Trump situation. Newsmax is the kind of channel that would try and frame a leaking oil rig in the Gulf as lubricating the sea so the fish can swim faster. So if those guys are looking at Pete Hegseth and Kid Rock and saying, "Actually, this is a liability," that's a big deal.
Mr. Woods. Get you to hang out down here with us, please.
Thank you so much. All right, you got it. All right, thank you. Bye. Say again?
Just keep you down here with us, please.
Yeah, I was just talking to the president.
I was just talking to the president. Tiger Woods, who's currently dating Vanessa Trump, is apparently on a direct dial basis with the commander-in-chief while he's spinning off a Florida highway. The rest of the country's stuck in a TSA line, and this guy's treating the president like a roadside assistance operator with a get-out-of-jail-free card. And if you're unsure which Trump Vanessa is, this is Don Jr.'s ex. No, not Kimberly Guilfoyle, the Make It Blab explosion survivor. This was the mother of his children, the one he was married to for a dozen years. So yeah, Vanessa went from Coke Jr. to Pound Town with Tiger. In the same week, a convicted felon fired his attorney general. He's taken crash calls from a golf legend. And every time I see these sobriety tests, I think, you know, are you like me? Like I'd struggle with that sober. I'm not that coordinated. And the alphabet backwards, no, I just can't. But the real moment here as a bald man is this. When you see that footage, it's like, Tiger, you know, I spent many nights playing your golf games on every console over the years. It's time to join the club. Either shave that last patch of fuzz off your head or commit and pay for the upgrade. The technology is there. Don't fight it. Join us. Now, if you haven't seen this picture of Lindsey Graham at Disneyland, I love it. Just walking around with a bubble wand and no kids. Bit of a red flag. It's like when you're in the dog park and you see someone sitting on the bench without a dog. What are you doing here? Someone around the playground without a child, sitting on their phone, taking pictures. Bit weird. Now, I love that the internet was so fast to make him a Disney princess. Fantastic. And he tried to toughen up his image, posting him skeet shooting. Spent some time breaking clays in Edgefield County today. Doesn't get much better than that. Be honest, Lindsey. The only time you're breaking clay is when you accidentally drop a bottle of rosé on the kitchen tiles. Again, the internet delivered, giving him a mouse ears and swapping a shotgun for a bubble wand. And I took it up another level with this giant eggplant. What's going on there? I make this independent show on my own. If you love what I do, consider leaving me a tip, become a member for extras, hit up my referral links, and stream my stand-up on Spotify. Please shut your poorly scripted, not funny ranting. You are not funny, interesting, or politically coherent. If you're trying to make a coherent argument, it would help if you actually check the spelling before you hit reply on your Funyun and booger-covered mouse. It's like you ran out of brain when making the comment, coherent, and I love it. MAGA tears. When God wants people to, he always chooses conservative Christians. You will lose, Baldy. Tell us you were homeschooled without telling us you were homeschooled. MAGA tears. Things really are going tits up for Noem. This is a fun one. Things really are going tits up for Noem. I'm a child. The core of the scandal involves Bryon in a series of cable news costumes. Her husband, Bryon, this name.
I can confirm the Tommy Campbell Show is the best political comedy show on YouTube. And I hope you subscribe.